Small Business Tip Show, episode 24. Welcome to the Small Business Tip Show. My name is Frank Thomas. With me, I have Nancy Boisvert. Today, we're going to be talking about another part to our series, New Entrepreneur Series. And today, we're going to be talking about the fear of failure and success. Be sure you stay tuned. This is another great show. Hey everybody, Frank Thomas here with Nancy Boisvert. Nancy, how are you doing today?
Absolutely fantabulous. How are you?
Fantastic, fantastic. So hey, we've had a great series so far. We've talked a lot about, how to build your business, especially if you are a new business builder, you're just kind of trying to start out. And we've touched a lot of things already. We've touched the outside game, the inside game. We've touched the whole idea of paralysis by analysis. We talked extensively about building a business plan, and you do have a business plan now, or you should. Turning your hobby into a business was the last show we did, and today we're going to be talking about the whole idea of the fear of failure and success. Did you know that it's possible to be afraid of success?
A lot of people kind of just always say, bring it on. But truly, they don't kind of understand at a conscious level, but subconsciously, yeah, they are afraid because they're afraid that maybe it's going to change their circle of influence, who their friends are. It's going to change who they are, change their core values. And sometimes it's hard to step out of what you know.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So, and this is actually a very important component to success in your business, especially when you're first starting out. If you've never had a success of your own, or you've never failed on your own, then it's kind of tough because when you're working in a company and something goes on, there's a lot of times you don't even realize when something doesn't work. All of a sudden they change gears and you wonder what happened. But the upper-ups have realized, oh, we're failing. This is not working, because they can see the whole picture. They can see everything that's happening. So what they're doing is they're rejigging and trying something different. And that's not unacceptable. That's actually a good business plan to have at times, is to rejig your business to, make it profitable going forward. There was a time when the manufacturers of horse, they made the horse straps and the harnesses and everything, and they realized that Mr. Ford was taking them out of business. So they approached him and said, hey, we would like to make the leather seats for your cars, or we'd like to make this, or the steering wheel, or something like that. So he said, 2 thumbs up, let's do that. And they're still in business today. But
you're going to be out of business.
Mm-hmm. And I have to say, when the money's flowing, it's usually really good. But I'll tell you something, when the money's not flowing, it can be even better.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
you have to think that, because you know something? For example, I'm selling software, you're in marketing services. What do people need to do when there's not a lot of business coming in the door? They need to market,
Yes. Unfortunately, a lot of people think that's where the first place that they have to cut back. But truly, if they were to take a hard look at what they are doing with their marketing, what they can do is they can streamline things. Like you say, when money's flowing, there becomes this largesse. Everybody's spending money, not maybe necessarily appropriately, and maybe in areas that aren't giving them a return. I think that we need these contractions because it helps us come back to focus. We have to have focus.
Mm-hmm. I remember I used to do a lot of stock trading years ago. It's something I tried and tinkled with, and wasn't really my cup of tea. But one thing I remember somebody once said in a course is, any monkey on a keyboard can make money on a market that's going up.
Yeah.
But only an expert can make money in a market that's not going up.
Hence Warren Buffett. He's buying like crazy right now.
Right. Why? Because he knows there's opportunity there.
Yeah. All these companies are undervalued right now.
That's right. That's right. So let's go back to the initial premise of the show here, the understanding the fear of failure and fear of success. One of the things that we have to realize that, something, failure sucks. It hurts. We can take it very personally, and you need to get beyond that headspace. Failure is just course correction. Failure is, I say to people, when I have people look at something I'm doing, I say to them, don't worry about hurting my feelings because you won't. You will hurt my feelings if you lie to me. So if it sucks, you need to tell me. And people have bluntly said, this really sucks.
Well, you
And
have
I
to
like,
learn how to do everything, Frank. You have to
Mhm,
learn how to do everything.
mhm.
And you're going to fail as you're learning. You don't just decide you're going to speak Spanish and start blasting perfect Spanish out of your mouth.
Mhm. Sorry, something you said in the last show. I'm still laughing about.
Uh-oh.
In the last show.
I don't even know what I said that made you laugh so much.
Oh my goodness. I got to get it out because if I don't, I'm going to continue remembering it. It's going to spoil the show for me. You were saying about frying swordfish.
Oh, the deep fried swordfish.
Yes. Okay. Now we had a good laugh. We can get beyond that. but the failure is going to happen. There's no way around it. You're going to fail. It's going to happen. You might as well just get into it and get beyond it, because something, if you haven't failed, then you're not working very hard. You're not trying very hard. You need to fail to succeed. Now, let's look at the other side of this coin, the fear of success. You would say, why would I be afraid of being successful? I have seen people become very successful and they need to get that money out of their hands as fast as possible. They will spend money on things they'd never spend money on just to be broke again. And I remember listening to this guy who was talking about the fear of success. And it's so true. We can't imagine more than 10% of what we have right now. So let me tell you a little something here. When we first started selling a product, we were selling it at $67. And we had somebody come to us and say, this is too cheap. You're never going to succeed. Oh, but if we try to charge more, and all these excuses.
Nobody will buy it.
No, so we tried a higher price. We've sold the software as high as $300 and people still buy it. And, and then you see these big sales and you're like, oh, what happens? Somebody refunds. This is a lot of money. Oh my goodness. And it's like, it's stupid because something, you're going to get refunds. It happens, but it doesn't happen very often. It's like saying, I don't want to make more money because I'm going to have to pay more taxes. That's stupid. You're going to pay more taxes because you're successful. That's awesome. Heck, I hate paying taxes too, but I'd rather be paying $100,000 worth of taxes than $20 because I know I made $1 million
of money. Yeah.
It's a big difference there. So, there is this innate fear of success, the fear of being outside of your comfort zone. And both of these situations take you outside of your comfort zone. If you want to be successful, you got to get outside of the comfort zone. You got to get out of that comfy lazy boy chair with a comfy pillow and get into that snowstorm, because that's the only way to become successful. You need to do that. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. You'll find that you are relishing in this fear zone at times when you find you're doing busy work as an excuse, or you're using it as an excuse for failure. Oh, well, you know what, I got that, but I was so busy. I just didn't have time to get the quote out.
Here's one of my favorites. I need my website. So then they get the website and I have to redo my website.
I actually had somebody say to me one time, not a word of a lie. I said to him, so have you been canvassing your new business? Oh, no, not yet. Well, why not? Well, I'm still waiting for my business cards to come in. What?
Yeah.
It's a perfect excuse to get in front of them again. Oh, yeah, I'm waiting for my business cards. I'm just waiting for a new batch to come. You mind if I give you a holler next week? I'm going to give you one.
Yeah.
That you can get in front of them again, and you'd be amazed. And, it sounds stupid when we say this, but you'd be amazed at what you do to avoid being successful. Because sometimes we lose our way too, this is a hard one to discern sometimes. Sometimes we just lose our way. But even in that, we're going to be failing. And then, I failed because, I just, I don't know. And, if you're not serious about your business, if you haven't made your business plan, if you haven't thought things through, if you haven't got a schedule of things that need to get done in a certain period of time, then really you have no idea where you're at. So,
and picture what success looks like to you. What does success look like to you? Because that can change too. I had a chat with a fellow earlier today, and he opened the door to something that I hadn't even considered in my vision of success, I pretty much knew where I wanted to go with my business. And I pretty much knew at this stage of my life and where things are, how big I wanted it to grow. But he asked me a question, which I can't reveal here right now, but it kind of turned things on an axis a little bit and made me look through a different window on how I could potentially attain a different level of success by implementing something that hadn't even entered my mind at this point, which is, again, Frank, you and I are longtime entrepreneurs, which is, I mean, part of, if not the driving reason why we want to do this course and this series, because we want to help other people be successful as entrepreneurs and let them know that they're going to fall into these same traps that you and I have over all of the different years and things that we've done. But one of the things that I had mentioned today is that entrepreneurs, myself included, suffer from also the fear of reputation damage. We get to a point, we've built this business, it's our baby. We've made the personal connections out there. Our reputation is at stake here. So if we bring somebody in and let them run with it, we can't help but be concerned that if they represent the company incorrectly, it's going to come back and reflect on my reputation. I have a friend who's since deceased. She built a very, very, very successful business, but she ran herself ragged because she never trusted. She had 26 people in her employ at one time, but she still had her hand in every creative meeting and in every annual report that they did and every creative process. And she ran herself ragged, trying to keep up with it all. So again, take a look at what success means to you. If success is in your view can be defined in certain parameters and you can still manage all aspects of the company, then that's fine. But otherwise, we also have to learn to trust others, to monitor them appropriately, but to trust that they give them reason to have buy-in and want to protect the reputation of the company.
An interesting book to read, and I recommend it to anybody who's going to become an entrepreneur or even get the audiobook from audible.com, is The E-Myth Revisited. It talks extensively about learning how to properly delegate tasks as you grow your business. And
yes,
this is something that we're noticing in our business is kind of taking off very quickly, which I'm not surprised about. We've put a lot of thought, a lot of engineering into this, a lot of ourselves into it. We have a core base of values that we stand by in our business. We do a lot of things that are a little unorthodox. We believe in the contributing that value. To us, it's a natural part of business. It should be there, and right now, business is missing that. So it's given us that edge because a lot of businesses don't have a lot of things that they should have. Now, something you need to realize too is, I'm going to tell you right off the bat, you're going to burn a few businesses, a few ideas before you become successful. If you become successful in your first idea, congratulations. Boy, you got a big ride in front of you, but it's going to be good. But even in the process, you're going to burn a few. I'm not going to lie. I've burned 3 or 4 businesses in to getting to this point here. And it's good. It is good because you learn from that and you move forward from that. This is not my first corporation that I have owned. And I burned a few of them because not that I went bankrupt or anything, but the business failed. The business did not succeed. So I closed it down. So that's okay. So realize that, you got to bring those right resources in. Now, one way I'm going to show you to help manage that issue, like this lady you were talking about there, Nancy, is back to, you really need to know your own processes. If you don't know your own processes, you got a problem. And you've also got to realize, just because you do the process the best doesn't mean you're the best person to do the process. It is important for you to realize, if you can now let me hit a few people right now. Whack. Just because you do something really well, it doesn't mean that you're doing it right. If you can't write it down and make it explainable to somebody else, then you have a problem. It's you. You need to make it so that process can be transmitted to another person. And you could say to him, oh, well, hold on a second here. I'm an expert in my field and I do this and I do. No, everything's complicated until you know how to do it. And then it's simple. It's always simple. It really is. You could be a brain surgeon. And if you could explain it, if you could McDonaldize brain surgery, you'd have a 16-year-old working on your brain, like.
I've always said, if somebody has enough of an interest, they can learn anything.
Mm-hmm. And it's finding the right people to bring into your business.
That's probably the hardest part, is finding the right people to bring in.
Mm-hmm.
Finding them. They're out there, but finding them, connecting with them is difficult.
You can't be afraid to hire, and you can't be afraid to fire. I've fired scores of people over the years, and it's not because they were bad or they're dishonest. It's just they weren't the right person for the job. And we all, in every situation, we ended up going, okay, well, this isn't working, so let's move on. So, and that it's been good so far. Nobody's died. Nobody's got upset. It's the way it is. Let me give you, Nancy, you gave me some really good sayings on different various people who were very famous, and I want to kind of just bring them out about now. Albert Einstein, the guy who theorized the universe and everything. I've been actually reading one of his books, or a book somebody put out about him on theories he's been thinking that he had thought about before he passed away that were really never really popular, like they were beyond his theories of relativity. And did you know that he wasn't able to speak until he was almost 4 years old, and his teacher said he would never amount to very much? Makes you think. Oprah Winfrey was demoted from her job as a news anchor because she wasn't fit for television. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
So we can't allow those outside influences to make us fail ahead of time.
Don't allow other people's perceptions to interfere.
That's right. So how does this tie into this whole concept? You will be attacked from the outside. You'll be attacked from the inside. And unfortunately, you're the one against all these many. But you need to realize that if the only way that these things can hurt you is if you let them hurt you. If you fail, so what? Move on. If you
pick up, dust yourself off,
get up again. You fell down, baby. Get back up and try walking again. You'll get it.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid. And something I remember. I've read about different entrepreneurs who are very famous now. I wish I could pop a name out of my head, but I'm on the spot and I can't. that they watched them fail, their family, and watched them fail again and again and again and again. And when they succeeded, they're like, "Oh, what happened? What did you do right this time? It took you long enough." But like there was no belief there. And even after, they're still like, "Oh, you run this company? Oh, isn't that incredible?" Like
what a fluke.
Yeah, Bill Gates. Bill Gates is one of them. He failed. Like he was hired on, I believe it was for Atari to write the original Atari operating system, but they fired him.
Does anybody out there still remember Atari other than you and me?
This was a few years ago. But then he decided he dusted himself off. He got back up and he did something else. And he wrote another operating system called Windows. And, and initially it was DOS, and he turned it into Windows. And he brought the right people in. He didn't do it by himself. He brought, in the end, like his core group brought more people in and brought more people in and brought more people in. But I'm sure he had a clear-cut idea where he was going. He had timelines. He had a business plan. He knew what he was trying to do. One of the things I do for my software is I know what needs to go into it. I know what when I'm doing updates and that, it's not willy-nilly. It's not, oh, this would be a great idea.
This would be cool.
Yeah, I think about it and decide whether or not it goes in and when it goes in, more importantly.
Can you put that add-in in there that'll deep fry swordfish?
Yeah. Nancy's deep fried swordfish. And if you haven't watched the last show, you have no idea what we're talking about, and shame on you.
So go back and watch it now.
There you go. So, it comes down to as well as the factor of your belief in who you are, what you can do, and what you're trying to do. Do you believe in yourself, your product, and your results? Do you believe you can do this? Yes or no? And this is, you can't think and say, well, I think I can. If you think you can, you've already failed.
Yeah.
You have to
And don't look for perfection. There's always somebody that's going to be smarter than you or richer than you or more handsome or more pretty than you. But be genuine, be true to who you are, and do what you do with integrity, and you will succeed.
That is, you hit the nail on the head. Thank you. That's perfect. Other people put out software like I have, but we've always tried to have high integrity. We've always tried to make sure the software works really good. We try to listen to our customers. We try to give value to them. We try to do a lot of things that we don't have to do, but we do them because we think it's important. And you know something? They come back again and again and again. They purchase again and again, and we show them other things. And they go, we trust you here. We're going to trust you here.
Yep.
And, somebody brings something to the table I don't like. We actually had a product brought to me yesterday. I think it's a great product, but it's horrendous to install. So I will not recommend it.
Right.
And I don't want to have to put the time in to fix their product. So I've decided I'm not going to
do a pass on that one. It doesn't fit.
Do a pass on it. It doesn't fit because it doesn't fit all my criteria. Now,
well, that's an important thing that you bring up there too, Frank, that you have to make sure that what you are doing fits. Don't try to make it work. It either works or it doesn't.
And the thing is, if you're not being true to yourself, your customers see it too. You're not being true to them.
Not everybody is your customer, and not every product fits with your product.
True, very true. So make sure that you work through these fears. They're going to come, and you're going to have times late at night where you can't sleep because you're worried about something. And it's more than likely because you haven't got a business plan. Boy, we're back to that business plan again, because you don't know where you're at.
Yeah.
Think about this as your finances. Do you watch how much money you're spending? Do you know the balance in your bank account? Do you know what bills have been paid, what need to be paid? Do you know what your financial situation is going to be in a year if you continue spending the way you do? It surprises me how many people have absolutely no idea, and those are the ones who don't sleep at night.
Ignorance is not bliss.
No, it is not. And in business, it is even easier to handle this, because if you have a plan and you're following your plan, I bet you're ahead of 90% of all other businesses right away.
Exactly.
I would actually dare say ahead of 95% of all businesses. There's a reason why. You see the stats that say that within the first 5 years, 9 out of 10 businesses fail. And in the next 5 years, before the 10-year mark, out of those last, let's say if you started with 100 businesses, you got 10 left, 9 of those fail as well. There's a reason for that. It's because there's no plan. There's no idea. They don't know where they're going. They're not willing to shift gears. They're not willing to make changes. They can't get over themselves. They're not taking it seriously. They have no business plan. There's always a reason.
Yeah.
There's always a reason. It never, and I've mentioned this before on other shows, it blows my mind how many stores. I live in a town that's about 30,000 people, and then we have a downtown strip. And I see these stores pop up all the time, boop, 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 like mushrooms on a rainy day, and they last about that long too. And I know that to open up a store and to get stock and to do all this, it's about $100,000 commitment at least. And I see people, I wish I could just say to them, before you spend any money, give me 10 grand and I'll save you 90.
Yeah, exactly.
I can be a millionaire, Nancy, in about a month.
Yep.
Because I see these stores pop up all the time.
The problem is they say, no, we got it. We got it. We're good.
There's a reason why stores have big turnover.
Yeah.
They didn't research the market. They didn't research the location. They didn't research something that, it's cheap to do these things. It's cheap. And this will help you alleviate the fear of failure and success.
Yes.
If you know your market and you know your potential and you work within the parameters to get that potential, you'll not be surprised by success and you'll not fail secondarily. It's not hard to
being prepared.
Yeah, it's if you be the good Boy Scout and always be prepared, then when something does surprise you, it's usually very minor. It's not something big. I know we did our first trade show for my wife's business last year, and at the end of the day, I spent a bundle on it. I'm still paying it off, and it was stupid because I went into that venture and I had a belief structure in place. And I'll be perfectly honest with you, the whole concept, we had some minor success, but we had a lot of failure in it. So, and I'm paying for that. And shame on me. I should have researched it a little deeper. I should have checked it a little bit harder. But out of that, out of the ashes of that failure, I have made success from it in other areas because I've taken the same components and rejigged it and figured out how to make it succeed. So,
Yes.
did I really fail? Temporarily, yeah. Am I still on the floor crying? No, absolutely not. Like it is what it is. I spent the money, it's gone, and I'm paying that off. And but I've taken those lessons and moved forward with them, and now I'm going to turn that money that I spent into 10 times what it would have cost me.
It's an investment. People invest in a university degree or a college diploma
Mm-hmm.
or a trade school certificate or any number of things. But when they invest money in a business, they always see it as I am making an expense. And perhaps part of that is because that's how it's structured in your accounting. But it truly is, you have to look at it as an investment. If you don't spend money on your business, how will you ever make any money? I'm not saying throw money at your business. Again, back to the business plan. Make sure that you have a plan, make sure you have a budget, make sure that you've done your research and you know who your core audience is and all those good things. And then don't say, well, I spent money on marketing or I spent money on a new office furnishing. You invested in the long-term success of your business.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I remember reading it was about a year ago, an article came out that was this entrepreneur for this big company. One of his senior management people made a huge mistake. It was like a $60,000 mistake. And they could have looked at that a lot of different ways. What he decided to do was he said, like the media approached him and said, "Oh, you just lost $60,000 of the business, or you spent this money because this guy made this horrendous mistake." And the manager turned around and said, "Actually, no, that's not the truth. The truth of the matter is I just spent $60,000 training my employee."
Yeah. Yeah.
And, and the unsaid thing was, now I expect him to make $1 million from the $60,000 training. So we'll see what happens.
So back to the point of the show, back to the point you made earlier, don't be afraid. You will have failures along the road to success. Mm-hmm. And don't be afraid of success. You'll never get there.
Very true. Very true. So, you got to get beyond these feelings. There's just no ifs, ands, buts about it. Yeah, there is something called the fear of failure, and there is something called the fear of success. It will attack you in various ways. It is there. All you need is you're supposed to come to and go, "Geez, what a waste of time this is," and something like
Crash.
that. Crash, like burn, flame. I'm very blessed. My wife has never said that to me. She's looked at some of my business ideas and she has a look on her face and I'm like, oh. But she is very politically correct when she talks to me, and she gives me the skinny because she knows that I like to hear honesty, and sometimes I have to defend my ideas, and then sometimes I turn people's mindsets around because they see what I'm trying to get at. And even this whole flip in the what I'm doing, like I went from a fee pay for services business to a software development business where I'm selling products, and it's a real paradigm shift for me. It's a huge shift for me. It's a huge change in my mind and how I think. And this is where it's kind of funny. I actually said to my wife, I said, "Am I crazy?" She says, "You've been trying to do this for 15 years.
Oh, I thought you were going to say she said you've been crazy for years.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. I've been nuts for a long time. But she says, "You've been trying to do this for 15 years, at least, if not longer. For as long as I've known you, you've wanted to do this. You've just never spoken it out. But I've seen it." And I went, "Whoa, that again, like," and you actually pointed on to a really important point of, seeing what your success looks like. Something, when you hear people say, get yourself a vision board and put pictures of stuff you'd like to have and where you like to be in it, something, and put it on your fridge. Sorry, put it on your fridge. That actually is a powerful way to keep you on focus and on track. Not because you're just trying to get stuff, but you can see what you're trying to work for. You can see, oh, yeah, that's right too. I'd like to have a car that actually runs and I don't have to push it to get it going. I'd like to have a nice house. I'd like to, send my kids to college. I'd like to feed the hungry. I don't know what your vision is, but what's important is that you know what your vision is, that you
And
know
you
what your
see it
vision
and you are reminded of it.
You know, like I'm the kind of guy that I'm a pretty simple guy. You know, like I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty content. I got what I need. I usually find what I want is what I want for business, you know, and but you know, saying that, I like owning a new car. Be honest with you. I bought a Chevy Cruze and I love the stupid thing. I think it's great. And I love the fact that it's not breaking down all the time. I love the fact that I live in a nice house. I love that we have a few bucks every month to go have a nice suppers. You know, we can put money away and have a nice vacation at the end of the year. I love that. You know,
Yeah.
for
What's your
me,
motivation, right? What
yeah, for
is
me,
your
that's
motivation?
it. I'm thrilled with that. You know, some people having a Mercedes might be the goal that they want to accomplish. That's good. You know,
But being true to yourself, I'm going to come back to what you were saying about your wife saying that you've been on this road for a while.
hmm
I've known Frank, for our listeners out there. I've known Frank now for several years, and I've known him when he was doing the fee for service business. And I gotta say straight up, Frank is probably putting in more hours now developing his software business than he did, other than at specific time crunch times with his fee for service clients. But he has found some bliss in this. He is doing what he loves to do. And when you do what you love to do and you move forward with honesty and integrity and you see your results because you have that plan, there's a whole shift. And I haven't seen Frank is blossoming with this. So that's my 2 cents worth about doing what you want to do and not letting that fear of failure stifle who you are.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You know, and you're right. I'm living my document that we give out on the website, making your passion your purpose. I'm living it. And I tell you something, it's wonderful. It's really kind of cool. I feel like everything that I've ever wanted to do is coming into fruition. You know, like I've had people validate that I actually do know how to do this, which is nice. And it's not that I needed that validation, but it's nice to get that validation. It's nice to have people say, "Yeah, you actually created a nice piece of software here. It works really good."
Yeah.
Um, and it's a wonderful feeling. And I would do it all over again, to be honest with you. I really would. And
And you're going
because
to with your next piece of software.
there you go. You know, like we put out, it's kind of interesting because we were looking for ways or bonuses we could give away for other people's software. And I started writing little programs that I can knock off in a day really quick.
Wow.
And they've been just going over like hotcakes. But I had to go through all the same processes of the big product and remember how I did a few things because I forgot how to do them. And it was a good thing to go through because it made me remember all the things I had to learn and the path that I had to walk to get to where I'm at now. And all it did is it whet my appetite to do some more. So
Yeah.
so guys, don't be afraid to succeed. Don't be afraid to fail. You're gonna fail. You know, as I said earlier, the manure of failure is the fertile grounds for success. You know, you need to have that to succeed wildly beyond anything you could ever imagine. And trust that if you stick to the process, if you've done all the things that we've talked about extensively in this whole outline in this course in the series of videos, then you will succeed well beyond you could ever believe. It's crazy. I never thought that I could have sales of a software product in the volumes that I am. And I'm like, okay, let's double it now. Let's see if we can double it now. And
Yeah.
I would have never said that.
Yeah.
I was like excited. I said to my partner, I said, wow, if we sold 100 units, that'd be so crazy. Woo!
Yeah.
And we're approaching 500 units. So,
Yeah.
and I'm like, okay, we need to do more. How do we take this to the next step? So it's really cool. It's really awesome. Don't let those around you stifle or cripple you, and don't let yourself do it either. So if you're listening to this on the podcast, excellent. I'm glad you're listening. If you're taking this as part of the course, we do have some extra resources. Make sure you do review them and to get as much out of this as you can. Nancy, any closing words?
Absolutely. Don't be afraid. Always use that business plan as your point of reference. Don't be afraid to update it and to adjust it as times require. And go back and review. And any questions or comments, we've done our best to outline the pitfalls based on our experiences, and I think that we can help a lot of people avoid making some of those mistakes as well.
Mm-hmm. And always, we watch when we have something out there. And if you do have comments, if you're watching this on YouTube as just a broadcast, do give us comments. Give us an idea where we've missed or what we think we're not perfect. We make mistakes too. So help us help you. So if you want to leave a comment, please do. If you're in the course, again, leave us a comment. Tell us where we need to fill in the blanks for you, and we'll help you get there. All the success to you guys. Have a great week. Get out there and make money, guys. Come on.
Thanks for being a part of this.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.